I don't know anything more than you, I just thought I was. And I didn't think, well,
You know he's from Chicago.
well, that's the kind of thing that's coming up, and it's kind of about somebody needs to be there to listen to it. So that's why I said, I think as long as we don't call the meeting to order, and we just
I'm not
let
gonna
it skip.
just-
Okay, I don't think there's anything to participate, we just want to call and talk and listen to it. We're not going to take any action. We're not going to discuss any other. It's just.
My first night to work there, it's a normal one. Honestly, I didn't do it to be smart.
And he said he didn't even realize he made the mistake.
He knew yesterday.
So we need to repost it, reschedule it for Monday, the meeting for Monday. But this guy, it was, I think it was too late to reschedule.
No, they didn't.
So,
They didn't have what I said. It wouldn't have been.
well, I just figured out about the AMPs. I was planning on being here.
Fresh it up.
But that's what they did.
You do what you want to do, I'm just telling you. Hey, do you need these animal control bills? I got it from,
We will put them in the thing.
Do you want me to put them in the folder downstairs, or do you have this in my
Yes, you can please. Social distancing code.
There you go.
You look like you're going off. Yeah, I just here.
Yes, you're caffeinated.
What's that? Better since I
Yes,
did
you're caffeinated.
Yeah.
I still remember that.
You know, my grandpa would say.
Look at that, I love it, you know.
I would
So we're not
buy
gonna
that,
have-
but somebody put on the internet that I have a drug and alcohol problem, so I better not be drinking today. You never know when I might get tested.
I'm in that work.
I'm just gonna start posting pictures of people taking pictures of my house and license. Haven't seen you all day today.
I'm
I know, right?
I'm in my work clothes, so I'm sure.
No, I talked to the sheriff.
I'll be on Facebook. Make fun of
It's free entertainment,
it.
right?
All right, yeah.
How's Scott doing?
Doing all right, yeah. I'm not gonna stay for this since.
Yeah,
We're not.
We're not having an official meeting.
The only
That's what
thing
Brian
is,
told me.
we're having the window guys coming, so he's driving like 2.5 hours, so
Yeah.
he's already on the way. We're gonna have an informal
I seen it here.
So committee members, there's some of us that are gonna have to leave. Is there any volunteers to leave?
Later.
See you, folks.
I'm leaving too, I'm not gonna stay, so you guys have
That's
fun.
3 of us. We're good, not in quorum.
All right. Have fun.
So it'll be a few minutes. We're waiting on the window guy. We are gonna have a informal presentation from him on the update, and then that will be it.
Yeah.
When we,
Is that on and recording?
Yeah.
Mine is.
Okay.
I'm online.
Okay.
There's people on here.
Okay, because I am going to leave. This is an OMA violation. I sent a note to Sonny. He could have rescheduled this meeting. He never even responded to my note. And I don't know who this person is that's coming or anything, but I'm not going to participate in this meeting because it is an OMA violation, and I'm leaving.
But it's not because it's not a quorum.
Oh, is that how you got around it? You told them to leave?
So when they come in here, you can still have it even though you guys advertised it at 6 a.m. and not 6
We
p.m.?
talked about we're not having anything.
We're not having the meeting, we're not going to call the meeting to order. This gentleman is coming down, I believe, was it Chicago? From Chicago to do this presentation. And apparently, he didn't get notified in time that for us to cancel the meeting and reschedule with him. Or maybe he couldn't be rescheduled, I don't know the whole
He was
story.
already on his way.
Yeah, so
have you heard from him?
rather
Yeah, he's
than,
coming. He's
just
gonna
not
be
be
a few
here when
minutes
he
late.
gets
Okay,
here.
because I said I guess.
Some of us
Yeah.
will be here to listen to what he has to
So
say.
everybody will be here but Teresa.
No, I think it's just me and Cody.
The other two just left.
And they won't be able to come back because we can't have a quorum because we're not having a meeting.
But this one will get rescheduled then?
Yes.
That's the plan, I think, is to reschedule. That we won't just take any action, we won't discuss anything else on the agenda. It's just to be here to listen to his presentation or whatever information he has.
This man that's coming is not from us.
This company did Coles County, Vermillion County, and Wayne County.
Centrica or something.
Centrica Business Solutions.
Solution.
I thought us was the one that we were going with the windows.
Now, why is there no meeting? I'm sorry, I missed something.
Well, on the agenda,
Mine says 6
it says 6 a.m., it was a mistype. I mean, it wasn't the clerk, it was sent to the clerk this way, 6 a.m. So if we were to hold the meeting at 6 p.m., we wouldn't properly advertise the meeting or post the meeting properly.
That's
So-
like the date, I'm being wrong on the other one, Ben.
I'm sorry.
That's like the date on the other meeting the other night, being the 20th,
They would have approved
2023,
some,
so they couldn't approve the
Oh, okay,
minutes.
yeah. Oh, that's right. So, we're gonna reschedule this, hopefully for maybe Monday. I think that will give us enough time, to have the actual meeting. But this gentleman was coming down, had scheduled to come down to talk to us, so rather than just leave him stranded.
If we want to, yeah, we can-
So does he come back Monday then and talk to your
Well,
committee? Yeah.
No, that part won't be on the agenda. And you guys are welcome to stay and listen to what he has to say. It's not a matter of, just private or whatever. But just rather than have him not, drive all that way and really be here. I'm sorry?
You have one item on the agenda as a meeting.
Not if we don't call it to order, the meeting to order. It's
It said 6 a.m., so they can't have it now.
But Teresa made them aware of this 2 days ago, and it can change in time.
Oh, I see.
I didn't even realize it. I didn't even read the AM.
We knew it at the legislative meeting when it was laying here.
I didn't even look at the time. I just knew to be here at 6 p.m.
It would've got changed in time, and you could proceed with it.
No, it doesn't matter.
We met the window, some people the other day when we were outside that were checking out windows. That's a big project.
So, yeah, imagine replacing all these windows, well, all these windows. No reason for it.
I didn't get any advice if there was no business.
We know.
You guys can say.
Whatever that.
He's coming from Chicago. He's coming from Chicago. He's straight in there. That's where we're from. He said,
So if you're watching, they can't have this meeting. Their agenda says 6 p.m. Not 6 p.m., so we have to reschedule this whole meeting. And you're shooting for Monday, Julie?
I think that's when they want to reschedule it for, if we can get a quorum together Monday evening.
We'll be back on Monday, guys.
We won't be very many.
All these people that's watching are like, what does that? I'm not even sort of doing this stuff.
I'm interested in the window, hearing about it.
You listen and you fill me in, okay? I'm gonna go and get supper out of the oven.
Now, what time's this guy coming?
I
He's
assume,
about like 10 minutes behind.
yeah, I assume he'll be here anytime.
Okay.
My daughter got her dog a stroller. Look at that. Isn't that the cutest thing?
Which one is that?
Huh?
Which one?
Ryan. That dog only weighs 3 pounds. It's the tiniest thing.
My Saint Bernard, just when I had him, he was 175 pounds.
Larry is very gentle with it. I mean, he's, 10 times bigger than her.
Our lights work over there just beautifully now.
Well, good, I'm glad they're still working.
Yes.
I think it looks better for the community.
Yeah. I mean, they're not the brightest lights,
No.
but they do help.
It's
though.
symbolic.
Right, yes, yeah,
They provide a little light.
they do, yeah,
The darker it gets, the more
Right.
you notice it.
right.
Sets the aura more than anything else, I guess.
Right, yes.
We were on some committee at one time to try to get all those lights down Main Street going, the ones that are like that, because Main Street's dark. And all those, the one they installed the sidewalks, that they just ripped through all the lines and
Oh.
there's nothing there.
Right.
Are you talking about the black, like street lamp lights? I have one in my front yard and I wondered if I could figure out a way to have somebody come.
Well, yours might just need a bulb or something.
No, there's no like electrical guts to
Oh.
it. Because it would be nice, but then mine would be the only one lit up and then it'd look silly.
It
But
hooked up to be the hard part because they,
Oh, yeah, that's where they were trying to put them. And yeah, they were all just cut off and all the guts pulled out of them.
yeah, it's just a pole. I mean, it's nice, it's pretty,
looks cool, yeah.
but I would like for it to light up, but
Maybe you can put a little solar light inside
That
there.
was my idea for that committee, because I figured they
Huh.
made those domes like that in solar.
Sure.
I didn't even think about that. Hmm.
They made one light, street light work before they
Gave it up.
Gave
They
up.
found wires
They
to one.
finally figured out how to route one and
Oh,
got
they
a
did?
wire to it from the source somehow or the other. They did get one of them lit,
Huh.
but it was, I think, a major challenging deal. And I don't know about
The rest, they couldn't figure how to do it.
yeah.
Now, there's another small one that's not lit. It's, it's a different style light though.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not.
That might, again, I'm guessing it might be the same thing, but
Uh-huh.
nothing ran to it or.
Could be, yeah. I always like seeing those fancy ones lit.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah,
I guess it's a lot like the clock.
yeah, there's gonna be a few
Right.
guys here, but it's not gonna be an actual meeting.
Whenever I go to different courthouses.
That was our.
Well, there was a gentleman, I don't know if you guys were at that meeting,
We weren't.
from
I don't remember his
Charleston,
name, but
that
yeah.
offered to fix the clock.
Right.
Yeah, somebody should have got his name.
Well, I did,
He
I've
did
got his
not,
name and number, but we
he
got a hold
did.
of him.
And
he
something
said-
happened.
He was in the elevator and some lady was, he didn't know who it was, but was so rude, he
Right,
wanted
something
to know.
happened where I heard he was
Why?
like, I'm done, I'm not interested.
Why do you,
Yeah.
why are you so
Okay.
interested in fixing our clock and what business
Right,
is it
yeah.
of yours? I mean, and he said, well, if it's gonna cause a
Right,
problem, I'm just gonna
exactly,
have to
yeah.
get involved.
Maybe can Daryl get his name from you?
It could be
Yeah,
repaired.
yeah, if I,
If you want to spend.
And that's.
he was gonna do it for free and
Nothing
everything.
about the money to fix it, he just wanted to fix it.
Someone built it so it can be fixed.
I
Right.
believe he was from
Somebody told me
Charleston,
there's
was where he came over
like a
from.
broken cog up there, and somebody's gotta be able to make it though, yeah.
They take
I've
that.
got all kinds of machine shops and they got computers. that
Oh,
can
exactly,
design
that- right, you
things
can measure it and,
now. Yeah.
put it in a CAD program and,
Right.
yeah.
Who do you think that was?
Oh, the Amish said Arthur can build, Amish said Arthur can build this whole courthouse if he wants to.
Yeah, good,
I
yeah.
don't think he did.
That's what I was thinking about.
Couldn't anything in there they could make.
once they have some kind of bid, then they can send that out to
Million, I don't know if it was $1.25 million bricks in this brick courthouse.
Yeah.
They bought them for $1.25 million hard bricks.
Yeah.
They paid $6 per thousand for
Because
them.
Mike's home for the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that's what I told him. I said, that's the kind of stuff that makes me think.
I think the total
You know,
cost
I
was
mean,
72,000 and
Stop
some odd, you know,
Oh my
God.
to- yeah,
when
yeah,
I'm
when
sitting
it
at
was
home watching TV
completed.
randomly and my dogs start barking for no reason.
Wow.
We have cameras, so if somebody's taking pictures of our house or whatever, we'll see who it is.
I don't want cameras around.
I was in an auto shop the other day.
My dog's in my
that was
underwear.
working on cars, and I was reading magazines there, and they have Hemmings magazines.
I don't know, I got kids, so.
Tells you about cars, all types of cars for sale, parts and all types of stuff. And they had some there from 1971. Thumbing through them and seeing these Rolls Royces for like 7,900.
Right, yeah, right, yeah.
I'm looking for that.
And motorcycles, they have old motorcycles.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, unbelievable prices, you know.
yeah. Of course, it was probably expensive then, though, you know.
Yeah, 71, I couldn't afford
Right.
that on one of those machines. They,
Here's the guy.
Here he is. Here's one.
I walked around the courthouse today for fun. All of those things need to be repaired.
Sorry, Blaine.
They're,
Oh, you're good.
We do that.
right.
The important people
They're all
are here
right.
to listen to you.
You go ahead, we're live and whatever, so.
Yeah, we're not calling a meeting to
Okay.
order. We're just here to listen to you, so
Oh, okay.
whatever.
Oh, well, don't I feel special?
Yeah, yeah, that's the only reason we stayed, so.
Okay, so who's all here? I know I met both of you yesterday, met you guys, and,
I'm Julie. I'm
Okay.
on the Public Safety Committee also. I'm Julie Edwards, board member.
okay, cool.
So some of the other board members had to leave because they couldn't have a quorum because of this.
Oh, right, open meetings act,
Yeah.
okay. All right, cool, good deal.
I
Well-
found that number, so don't leave till I read you.
I'm gonna pull this chair over and sit over here, so I can talk to everybody if that's okay.
And for your slideshow too, we can move the camera.
Okay.
That way, if it's okay with you, we can,
we can see.
Yeah.
whomever,
And then just pull it up on my laptop?
yeah. Yeah, I already talked to him, if you guys want to watch the slideshow, we don't have a projector, but you're more than welcome to see the slides.
Okay. You want me to point the laptop facing this way, or is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So for those of you I haven't met yet, I'm Blaine Meadows. I'm with Centrica Business Solutions. We are formerly known as Smart Watt Energy. So we're a design build energy services company. So we have a team of licensed engineers and construction managers who manage projects all around the country, and my focus is here in the state of Illinois, focusing on projects with local governments, specifically counties. So our company has done work with, I would say, probably a couple dozen counties throughout the state, and we have 4 or 5 active projects going on right now with other counties around Illinois, pretty close to this area. Effingham County, we just finished a project in Coles County, doing the same exact thing, restoring and replacing some windows within their historic courthouse. Looking to do that at Effingham. We're doing that same thing with Vermilion County up in Danville, and done some projects with other counties in the area, Fayette County, Edgar County, and Iroquois County. So we've done a lot of work with counties throughout the state of Illinois, so we see ourselves as kind of the county guys. We do a lot of work with counties in Illinois, but so we understand that. I'll give you some background and history on kind of why we're in the room tonight and how we kind of got here, and that was really just because of the work that we've done in and around the area. My job is to try and make connections and figure out other counties throughout the state we can help out with doing projects similar to what we've done in the past. And so I came across a few folks within the county a couple months back before the holidays, and started doing a little bit of research, found out that it seems like you all have been trying to get this project going for some time now, getting these windows replaced. So just did my due diligence, tried to make some connections and made some inroads with the county clerk. Ended up talking to the sheriff and talking to Cody and a few board members over the phone. And so now here we are. If we can lend a helping hand, we'd love to be able to help out, because that's our specialty, is in helping out the historic buildings throughout the state maintain their infrastructure. And it seems like that's exactly what needs to happen here, because it's a beautiful building. Just walking through here yesterday, I had a couple of guys with me from our engineering team. We were really impressed with some of the upkeep throughout the building, and just seeing the history throughout the building. It's really neat. It definitely needs to be preserved, and we love getting involved in projects like that, to where we know it's really making an impact. So that's kind of our bread and butter. So I put a couple slides together just so you had some visuals to look at, but there's nothing really formal. I tried to keep it short and sweet. So just a couple of slides to talk through here. There's a photo. This is the Coles County Courthouse project that we did. And just to talk through that project, there was over 400 windows that we replaced at that county's courthouse. And this is their courthouse building. And this is kind of the after picture. There were 400 windows we had to custom design. And that building is kind of unique in that, because that building is listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. So anything that's done to the building, we have to go through a historical preservation committee to get their approval on the type of material we use, the size of the windows, and make sure it's up to their code as per what their requirements are for preserving the historic nature of the building. So we're very comfortable with working through historic buildings. And that project actually won a national award on historic community impact, just due to the nature of the project. So we're really proud of the work we do, and it seems like the communities we work in really appreciate it as well. So this is just a slide just highlighting kind of why we're excited to get involved with Shelby County, and it's just some of your photos of the courthouse, some of the various windows we've seen just by looking around. I don't need to talk to the condition of the windows. You all know what the condition of the windows are. But I took a snip of shelbyville.net, where you kind of highlight that there's a lot of history and heritage, and front and center is this courthouse. So we want to make sure that we are a part of, we get excited about trying to make an impact on the communities, and it seems like getting the windows replaced in this courthouse would really catch your eye. I mean, when we were driving into town yesterday, the courthouse was the first thing that caught our attention when we were coming into town, with all the memorials and the statues. And I mean, from our understanding, it seems like the population is growing, and with growth comes more tax revenue. And so it only makes sense for the county to reinvest in its community and its infrastructure to make sure that the growing population sees that, and then it only adds more to that. So we would be really excited if we'd be able to come in and help out from that side of things, because we love historic buildings. We love doing that sort of thing. So how can we help? It's a question we get a lot. And so how do we do this? What makes this different, and how do we go through kind of the selection process, and how does that all work? Historically and traditionally, we know that most local governments go through kind of like a low bidding process, where you release some sort of a qualifications request, where you ask local architect and engineering firms to submit their qualifications. You go through an evaluation process, and eventually the county lands on selecting one to design a scope of work and get specs put together. And then the county then would issue an RFP requesting proposals from contractors to then implement that scope that the architect and engineering firm designed. And then you're abiding by the low bidding process of selecting whoever the lowest bidder is on that scope of work that the county has designed. We actually are, because we're an energy services company and we are sticking to energy conservation measures, we abide by a different set of rules in the state of Illinois referred to as the Local Government Energy Conservation Act. And just if you're curious, you can go and look this up. This is the government code. I'll send this all out for you, but there's a statute here in the state of Illinois called the Local Government Energy Conservation Act, where it reads, it's an alternative procurement method for local governments so that you don't have to abide by that low bidding process. It kind of streamlines everything. It still is a qualifications-based selection process, but once whoever the company is that the county would select, it then takes all of the most of the responsibility off of the county and puts it on whoever the selected provider is to then administer the entire process from start to finish, from designing the specs, running the competitive bidding process with local companies that could do the actual work like contractors, and then overseeing the construction of the project. So in a smaller county that doesn't have a ton of resources or staff to dedicate to that initial low bidding process of managing all of those different steps and taking on all the risk to make sure it's done properly, a lot of counties see value in working with us and going through this process as opposed to doing that. So there's really two routes you can go to formally select us as the qualified provider or whoever you'd like to select. And that would be to have the county issue their own RFQ, where we can help you kind of type up some documents and release it to the Capital Development Board. And then that would be hit the streets where us and whoever else who is a company of our statute, an energy service company, could respond and give you their qualifications, and the board would go through a review process. So that is one way you can go through a formal selection process, or you can go through what's also known as a cooperative purchasing group, who's already done their own RFQ, and we are on a list of pre-qualified vendors that are qualified to administer projects like this. And in the eyes of the state of Illinois, as a member, if you are a registered member of this cooperative purchasing group, you can point to their RFQ that they've already administered and said, hey, we have a timeline we're trying to adhere to. We understand that they've already administered their own selection process. We see this list of qualified companies that have met their standards and criteria for being a qualified company. We want to pick XYZ company as the most highly qualified company to help us out and allow them to begin their design and construction process for us. So those are, it may be a lot to digest, but those are kind of your two options to go navigate through selection.
So after
Yes,
all
sir.
this, what are the windows gonna be, and what are they gonna be made out of, and what we need is a description. I mean, you've given us a description of our courthouse, and we all know.
Mm-hmm.
What are the windows gonna be made of? Are they gonna be guaranteed? Are they going to help with heating and air conditioning?
Yeah, so
Those
those
are the things we need to know.
Mm-hmm. And tonight's discussion is more so, this is kind of our first introduction to, hey, if we can help out, we will. And those questions would be answered here in the next 2 to 3
You're gonna help
months.
us out, which is good.
Yeah.
You're gonna help yourself out, or you wouldn't be here. You're gonna
Right.
make money.
Hey, there's no need to act like this right now, Jake.
We don't need to know
This is-
all about
this
that.
is just
Well,
an
I wanna know
introduction,
what the
Jake.
windows gonna be.
Jake,
We're not sure yet.
this is just an introduction to the
I know what
starting.
it is, but when do we come to the part where?
You're not
Well,
going to tonight. This
that-
is,
this
he already
is-
told you.
If we're not coming to lot for it, that might as well be. Because there's no information.
So those questions we all would have answers to. It would
Sure.
probably take us a couple months to get there. But that would be, we would have answers to what types of windows they would be, fixed, operable, what material they'll be, the size of them, making sure we cross all those T's and I's and make sure they're all taken care of. But just that's not where we're at right now. So this selection process is kind of that big step we need to get through to be able to allow us to get those answers for the county. So
So when you guys walked through the other day, or
Mhm.
yesterday, I'm
Yes.
sorry,
yesterday.
did you feel like that this would be a project that you could take on? I mean, I know some of the windows are in terrible disrepair and,
Yeah, and from what our team looked at so far, there's not much that we wouldn't be able to do. The main challenge that we saw was this section of the building right here is kind of trying to figure out how we get, whether we replace some operable windows and kind of come in from the outside to finish it once we're done, or cut through the wall and replace it. We're not sure. There's lots of options we can look at, but that was kind of our biggest challenge, and we saw that the county has done an asbestos abatement over the last 10 years or so, so that certainly helps. That would be another hurdle the county would need to jump over, is we wouldn't be allowed to touch the windows if we find that there are asbestos or other hazardous materials within that building, in that area where we'd be doing work. So that would be a challenge that we may come across. But as far as being able to take on the project, our team felt confident we would be able to do it.
Now, you reached out to the county, is that what I understood? Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, you reached out to them.
Yeah.
Then, was there enough, somebody that you were already speaking with too? Okay.
And part of that is I CC the sheriff on all those, and we can't get an answer back. And he reached out,
Yeah.
and
I was just trying to figure out how many players there were so far.
Yeah, I mean, in all the talks that we've had in the 3 years I've been on the board, I've never even heard of an organization like yours. It was more like we were kind of forced to find a architect, and then the architect would work moving forward with the construction company, and, you know, I didn't realize there was group agencies like yours out there.
have you guys been to Charleston by chance? And drove past their courthouse?
I mean, I've been to the Charleston.
Yeah,
courthouse.
I've been in there, yeah.
Well, I wasn't meaning to been in there, but just drove
He goes
past.
to, we file marriage licenses.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I get to all the courthouse.
Right. So my wife works right down the block, so I went past there, I think, last week, and it looks really nice.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
not to toot your horn or whatever, but I've had more conversation with these guys in 2 weeks than I've had with Utz in 4 months.
So the first step to get the project going, because the big chunk of the project is going to be paid for by ARPA funds.
Yeah.
And those have to be allotted, I mean, I'm not sure, but by a certain date.
Next year.
Yeah,
Or end of this year.
December
The end of this year.
24.
Yeah, but you have a timeline, right?
Yeah, that's this slide I put together.
Am I jumping ahead? I'm sorry.
No,
I'll let you
no, no.
finish.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead.
I'm
Way to go,
sorry.
Julie.
This is right where we're at, so
Okay.
I'll send this out to whoever would like it. Just see, it's only 4 slides, but it's had some info in there that you can research.
Mm.
So, best case scenario, and I'll preface before I get into any of the dates, we put this timeline together not having any conversations really with the rest of the board outside of the sheriff and yourself. So really this is if the stars align and everything falls perfectly into place, we see this as the best case scenario from start to finish when we can begin construction. So kind of working backwards from that, we see that there's potential that if everything goes smoothly, we can get construction began sometime this summer, maybe August. So you would have new windows before this next winter you'd go through.
I don't think that the project has to be completed until the.
It has to be contracted.
Yeah, it has to be, you know, everything lined up by the end of '24, but I don't think it has to be completed till '26.
Right, but if
Yeah.
it can be.
Sure, I
done
mean, it'd be
before
nice
winter,
sooner than
I
better,
think
yeah,
that
so we don't have
that's-
another winter of windows falling on.
Yeah, and so that's, like I say, that's best case scenario, and it's definitely adjustable based on kind of what the board would like to see, if it needs to get pushed out. This is just kind of like the fastest that we see our team abilities to move. This is the fastest that we can move, and it's subject to whatever you all would like. So kind of moving back from there, to get to construction, we would need to see that in the June county board meeting, we would have a kind of a firm fixed price proposal for the county to authorize and approve, hopefully in that June board meeting. And that would be then for either your state's attorney or whoever to review it and authorize someone on the board to sign off on it. And backing up from there, we're thinking that we would be able to complete what we call an investment grade audit, which is where we design the scope of work, we run an RFP competitive bidding process with local contractors in the area, get quotes, get pricing, make sure they're good with the scope, make sure we can hold them accountable to it. And we're thinking that if everything aligns, we'd be taking care of that here in the months of April and May. So it usually takes us 4 to 8 weeks to get through that process, just depending on how responsive contractors are and how available the building is to get access to. And again, best case scenario, if we were to do that and work through April and May as our investment grade audit period, we would need to see the April board meeting on, I think it's the 11th, would be when we would ask that the board would be ready to authorize someone on the board to sign our project development agreement with an investment fee if the county would decide to not move forward with the project. So our project development agreement just would be so that if we were to come out, design the project, get all the bids put together, and then the county says thanks but no thanks, there would be a cost passed along to the county that we would then recoup a portion of the cost. So we would see that best case scenario, that if everything were to work out properly, that would be on the agenda for the board to approve on the April 11th board meeting to get things kicked off and moving from there. And then between now and then is just getting through and navigating which route the board wants to go for selection. Do you want to run your own RFQ, or you want to register as a member of the co-op and just pick their RFQ? And that kind of streamlines the process. Goes from running your own RFQ. We've seen some counties take 2 months to go through that. We've seen others take 6 weeks. Going through the cooperative purchasing, you can register in a matter of a couple days, and you'd be good to go after a week.
Sure, are you on board?
I'm liking what I'm hearing so far.
Yeah.
Blaine, just curious, what type of windows was used over, because that is a historic building, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Were they like a thermal window?
It was a wood vinyl material there.
Right. Yeah. Were they operable or not over there? Do you remember?
No.
Not operable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this building, is it listed historically?
It is.
As far as we know.
No, it's not.
It's not
So
as,
it doesn't
yes,
have to-
which is, but it sits in a historic district, which creates some,
Does it, like, because we've never been told,
yeah.
we've never done anything,
Yeah,
but
right.
we haven't done like any construction, you know? But
Right.
we haven't, I don't know of any.
Well,
restrictions.
as long as you're not getting grant money for it, there's probably is no restrictions, but yeah. Good.
Okay.
I just think it sounds amazingly simple compared to the headache of the last 3 years.
Well, the main question really then lies, we've seen a couple quotes that you've received over the years. We saw one going back to 2016. Maybe it would be helpful for us at some point to get kind of confirmation on what the ARPA allotment is currently for how much money is set aside for the window project, so that we kind of know what our parameters are, and then also what the board's anticipation is for, hey, we see that this quote you received from back in 2016 was for this amount of money. We would like to kind of know what a range would be as far as we want to do this as cheap as possible, but also we want to do it to where you're getting the best value, so that this isn't just a quick fix. This is a quality project that takes care of your needs, and it's not just the cheapest solution. So that would probably be helpful over the next week or two to kind of uncover that too and see what.
That's something you need from them.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't think that's an issue. I think the treasurer keeps a pretty tight total on what the allotment is for the ARPA fund.
Okay.
My question is this like a all-at-once project, or can it be staged?
It really is.
Like depending on
Yeah.
when it comes down to money. Obviously, we have some windows that are completely missing that need to take priority. Then we have some that are not in great shape that are probably going to be missing. And then, we have some that have already been repaired that could probably go back further. I don't know, this is just me asking the question. Could it be a staged project, or does it have to be done all at once?
There's no requirement for us to do all of them at once. It's really just kind of whatever is the best fit for what the board wants. Because we went through the same thing with Effingham County here over the last couple months. We went through, they have a 4-story government center that was originally a hotel, got converted into office space in the 1980s or so. And so that was their conversation was, well, they have a jail that's connected to the first floor of the building, and those windows are in pretty good shape. So do we want to replace all 4 floors of windows? Do we want to do 1 floor at a time? Do we want to do fixed windows for the top 3 floors, but leave the bottom floor alone. And so we went through that discussion with them, and we landed on doing, leaving the first floor alone and moving forward with replacing the top 3 floors of windows. So I just go through to say it's flexible, and it's really dependent on what we come back with through our audit. Once we get a project development agreement signed, that's really where our team can come in and really uncover, all right, what really are the condition of each and every window, and come back and say, here's what we found, here's what it's going to cost, and then have that kind of toggling back and forth with the board and say, tell us what you want. Do you want us to go through all of it? And we've seen some boards like Coles County, they talked through that discussion too, of talking about phasing it out, and they just came down to it and said, you know what, for the aesthetic look of it, we just want to get them all done at once. And we have the ARPA money to do it, so let's just knock it out all at once, because they talked about doing those for 20 years. And we just came in at the right time and we're help them expedite it with the use of their ARPA funds. So it's flexible.
The courthouse you showed us in the beginning, how many windows did you say that was?
400.
How many?
400.
400? And you said there's about 100 here.
Yeah, we looked at some bid specs that were received. We saw some drawings down in the basement, and we think there's roughly 130 windows here at this point.
What was that cost on that courthouse with the 400 windows?
I think it was close to $5,000 a window, but it came out to be a little over $3 million.
For 400 windows?
Right.
See, I thought that'd be a good ballpark figure out.
Yeah,
Somewhere around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we were
have you done
anticipating
a courthouse that's
upward
got
of 2 million,
100
I think,
windows?
weren't we?
And the project at Effingham, that is going to be roughly just shy of 90 windows. So,
And do you have an estimated cost on that?
and that project is different because we're doing a bundled project where we're putting a solar system on top of the roof to help offset their electricity costs. So that is a bundled project, and altogether that came in just over $600,000. So the combination of both the windows and another thing that makes that project different is the windows are a lot smaller than these. I think your smallest window is 8 feet tall. The windows at Effingham are much smaller than even that.
How about the windows in that building? How tall were those? The ones that
Charleston.
in Charleston where you did the 400 windows?
Would you say they were wider but not as tall?
Yeah, they were wider, not as tall, and they also had some arches, kind of like this building has.
Mhm.
And because each window had to be custom made, it also made them more expensive. And the type of material we had to use, it also made it more expensive.
Which
So
the arches,
That's a good question.
that was one of the first questions was,
Yeah.
they're gonna still be there.
Uh-huh.
So there was no blocking it off and doing whatever.
Right.
Well, this is good news, I think.
I mean, today
Now,
was
something else
ultimately
he said
terrible
he
news,
needed though was your past bids. He needs those within a few days, right?
No, we already have that, so we already
Okay.
have the past bids. Really, it would just be kind of like I guess, and that might be a conversation for down the road, but when we get our prices back, that's when we're gonna need to have the discussion of, okay, how much is too much? You know, because I don't think it would be beneficial to have that conversation now, but once we get our project put together and figure out how much we think it's gonna cost, we can come back and tell you, here's how much we think it's gonna cost, because our team has kind of tried to wrap their head around, we can't seem to figure out why the number was so high for 120 windows 8 years ago. I mean, our team seemed to think that was pretty high, but there's other factors that we may not be considering in our general analysis. So we're going to try and fit it within that ballpark as much as we can. But we also want to make sure that we have that discussion of, okay, if we come back a lot higher, then we start having that, okay, what are we cutting? How much are we cutting?
Great, great.
How easy is it to join a cooperative if we wanted to go that route?
There's a local representative, and the organization is called, it's an acronym that's TIPS, and it stands for the Interlocal Purchasing System. And so they are based out of Texas, but they have operations in every state in the country. And so they have every type of commodity available you could think of that you could go through and purchase through that group. And it's free to join as a local government entity. and it takes roughly a day to get, I mean, if you have somebody on there, it takes probably 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes to actually apply and register. And then it takes a day or two for then the organization to go back, go through, make sure everything checks out, and approve the registration. So all in total, depending on time and availability, you're probably talking maybe a week to get registered.
I was gonna talk to Jessica tomorrow. Jessica and Bobby about.
Becoming part of the co-op? So if we become part of that co-op, that eliminates the need to bid things out? Is that what I'm
Or we
understanding?
can,
It eliminates the county's need for you to bid it out. If you register as a member and then go through and select your qualified provider, which we hope it would be us, then that responsibility would be put on us to competitively
gotcha.
bid out.
So there's other people like you running around looking for work like this?
I wouldn't say not
Not
as much.
like him, surely not like him. Blaine's
Just checking.
special, right?
Most of our competitors, that companies are like us, they don't like to touch projects that are under 10 million bucks. It's just, there's too much overhead in it for them where they have certain profit margins they need to operate by, and anything under $10 million just isn't worth it for them. We like these types of projects, and I'm local, I'm up north, just a couple hours north in Grundy County, so it's just next to LaSalle County, so.
Well, we're glad you reached out because we weren't, things were going nowhere, it seemed.
Seems like that kind of timing is, you never know. You never know where a handshake will
Meant to
take
be,
you.
maybe.
We'll see.
I appreciate you
Yeah,
speaking with us, even if we goofed up the
it's no problem.
meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if you wanted to pull up that slideshow or whatever, maybe we could show the slides. I don't know if it would
Okay.
work on that or not. I don't know necessarily.
Okay. Just to put it up next to the.
Yeah, I don't know how to zoom in and out.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which camera we were using. Is it maybe that one over there or this one?
Oh,
here?
that's the court.
Okay.
On this end, just let me know.
This is going up on the YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're YouTubers here in
Yeah.
Shelby County.
There you go.
All right, go ahead.
And he, well, on his own accord, he just was driving.
That's the Charleston,
Yep.
So it
That's
wasn't working.
Coles County.
Coles County.
Hello.
Said some lady was rude to
Good.
him in the elevator, and he's like, I don't want to get in the middle of anything.
This is the slide about the
Waiting for a meeting.
current condition of the windows. A couple photos were snapped.
You can't, I mean.
This is just a snippet of shelbyville.com. Kind of why we're excited. We want to make sure that
And then this window in the top, right, that is one that is blown out, correct?
yes, that's this window right here in this court.
In the courthouse?
Yep.
Okay,
These are the selection options available to satisfy procurement.
I mean, he might.
You have the
I don't know what.
RFQ administered by the county. You have TIPS, which is the Cooperative Purchasing Organization.
What's that?
There's going to be possibly.
This is the timeline, just best case scenario. This outlines kind of today's
You were here for the county.
meeting and milestone dates between then and now to get to a very optimistic start date of construction being sometime late this summer.
no, I get, like, so if, like, let's say we did the 100 windows, 130 windows, and you could put that back. What do you think the time frame would be? 'Cause, I mean, I wouldn't want the middle of December and windows are being taken out. And then the other question would be, is this a Monday through Friday thing, or like, work a little bit through the week and then more on the weekends and then here?
It tends to be discussions that we have with the judges and when their availability is and when they want us to work in their courtrooms.
Okay.
And then also becomes a discussion of, well, how much labor costs do you want to incur? Do you want to pay the normal prevailing wages, or do you want to pay overtime for weekends? And so it's flexible though, so it's, we don't have set, we have to do it on these dates, we have to do it. No, it's really, this is the county's project, and we would be the partner for the county to then
Right.
tell us how they want us to do the project for you.
Yeah, that was
So I
just
can still get on Monday.
a question,
What's that?
so.
Do you want
So I
something?
can still get on Monday.
Well, I
Alright.
don't know.
Sounds good.
We'll
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Brian.
Yeah, no problem. I hope that helps to paint a better picture. I know we've had a lot of conversations, but
Right.
hopefully that helps.
Can
Yeah.
we change the agenda?
I think
to
so.
the-
Thank
Cool.
you for
You change
And
the
then,
time.
Right, I know, right.
Thursday will be the
But
actual board
the-
meeting.
I
Okay,
know one time, that,
The clerk does all that, so
Okay.
she does a good job
Right.
at it.
yeah, she
The
seems,
correct times and dates and everything like that, so.
you know, I saw my, are we still on record?
Something on the agenda?